Hey guys, I'm apparently Vernica, and this is my 16-inch MacBook Pro review. I've had this MacBook Pro for about 4 months now, and although it may have seemed like a bad time to buy this, especially since Apple Silicon was just coming out, I bought it for certain reasons. Let's get into it. So, my MacBook Pro has the Intel i7 processor, the AMD Radeon Pro 5300M, and 32GB of RAM. I found that over 4 months of use, programming using Xcode has been absolutely smooth, and editing using DaVinci Resolve has been just as fine. There have been a few stutters here and there, but I think it's fine, especially for a laptop this size. However, pretty much all the time, the fans are always spinning, no matter what you do. And at idle, the laptop lies at about 40 degrees Celsius. When I'm at my desk, this is absolutely fine, but when I'm using it on my lap at a couch or somewhere else, it does get quite hot and it does hurt. However, this laptop is perfect for this winter. Alright, so in terms of ports and battery life, the MacBook Pro has 4 USB-C ports, and that's enough to connect up a monitor, an SSD, a charger, and you have one spare, so you can connect up anything else you have, perhaps an eGPU. It means that you don't need a USB-C hub, unless you have to use SD cards, and it makes the MacBook Pro more portable. I absolutely hate having to walk around with a hub hanging off my MacBook. Maybe next time Apple could include an SD card slot. There's also a rare 3.5mm headphone jack, and this is absolutely perfect for lagless video editing and just listening to audio, especially if you don't have wireless headphones at the ready. The MacBook Pro also supports Thunderbolt 3, which means there's a wide range of accessories supported, and it makes the MacBook Pro even more useful, especially with the incredible read and write speeds that the SSDs have. In terms of battery life, I found the MacBook Pro's battery life satisfactory. It's not mind-blowing, but it's not terrible. I don't have to plug it in all the time. I do, however, only get about 5 to 6 hours when I'm watching YouTube, compiling code, and running the Xcode simulator. That is quite a demanding task for the MacBook Pro, so I'd say it's quite good. However, it's not as good as the advertised 11 hours that Apple said originally. My favourite change to this MacBook Pro is the keyboard. Apple's changed out the old butterfly switch keyboard for all new scissor switch keyboard. We did have this keyboard pre-2016, so I'm not sure if it's all new or just brought back to life. So now, over the course of 2020, Apple has updated all of their MacBooks with the new scissor switch keyboard, which means that even if you don't buy the 16-inch MacBook Pro, any MacBook you buy now, it will have the scissor switch keyboard and you'll get just as good an experience. If you have an old MacBook Pro, perhaps 2016, 2017, I'd definitely consider switching over to a new MacBook Pro just because of the keyboard, because it's that much better. Additionally, we still have the touch bar. We've had it for 5 years now, and I think it's just as useful as it was when it came out. It hasn't really got better, but I've gotten so used to it that if I use any other laptop, I actually do try to tap any of the controls across the top, and I find myself pressing the function buttons. One of the most notable changes in this MacBook Pro, and the most obvious, is the new 16-inch screen. Not only is this extra diagonal inch of screen space super useful, but the display itself is super bright, it's super color accurate, and it supports HDR, so you can watch Apple TV Plus HDR footage, and most importantly, you can rewatch iPhone 12 Pro, Pro Max, and any other HDR footage live on there at its pure perfection. The AMD 5300M is absolutely smooth and it runs absolutely fine on this machine. It does stutter when you're running it with a monitor, and it does make the fans burr up quite a lot, but when you're using the laptop on its own, it's absolutely incredible. The speakers in this MacBook Pro are once again remarkable. I've actually completely stopped using my headphones just because of how amazing the speakers are, and just to embrace the beauty of the speakers. I find that there's a lot more bass and the music is much more clearer. And when you're listening to a podcast though, you can hear every single little detail. Take a listen to this. This MacBook Pro is absolutely amazing, and because it's already inside the computer, You don't have any cables, it's not external, and it's with you wherever you go. Whenever you record using this microphone, the audio is incredibly clear, and it's perfect when you're making podcasts or trying to just use a voiceover. However, the webcam on this MacBook Pro is still a 720p webcam, so when you're taking meetings, you'll sound amazing, but you'll look, yeah. So, the 16-inch MacBook Pro is amazing, but should you buy it now? With Apple Silicon already out and the 16-inch MacBook Pro being over a year old, is it worth buying it? Sure, it has great features, and if you're looking for a computer which has all of these features, an amazing microphone, an amazing speaker set, an incredible display, an amazing keyboard, then sure, go for the 16-inch MacBook Pro. If you're looking for a MacBook Pro quite urgently, and you have a 15-inch model, then sure, go for this. But if you're on a 13-inch MacBook Pro, or a 13-inch MacBook, or you're just looking to get into the MacBook Pro altogether, then I'd go for the M1 MacBook Pro. Not only are they in some places faster, they have a wider range of apps that you can run. Overall, my last few months with the MacBook Pro have been absolutely amazing. It's been absolutely perfect, and it's been super smooth. I've had no glitches whatsoever. The keyboard, in particular, is my absolutely favourite part, and I think that this is an incredible upgrade over the old butterfly switch keyboard. If you are looking to buy a 16-inch MacBook Pro, maybe consider upgrading the processor or the GPU, or if you need it, upgrade to 64 gigs of RAM. It will definitely future-proof your purchase. But if you're thinking of only keeping your MacBook Pro for a couple of years, then I'd stick with the base model. These are quite expensive, and Apple Silicon based Macs do seem to be getting lower prices. Not cheap, but just lower prices in general. So maybe buy a lower model of this, a base model of the 16-inch MacBook Pro for now, and wait until Apple Silicon improves its performance, supports more RAM, maybe even has external GPUs, and then go for an Apple Silicon MacBook Pro. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm apparently Vernica, and if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!